You already know you need a bot. You have seen what happens without one. So let's skip to the part where I explain what you actually came here for, how to get set up, and what you need, and where to start in the summer of 2026. Before you spend a penny on anything, you need to understand what a bot actually does and how the whole thing fits together, because jumping straight into buying a software without understanding the basics is how people waste money. A bot is a software that automates the buying process on retail websites. Where a manual buyer is one person, one device, and one attempt, a bot gives you multiple simultaneous attempts across multiple sites at a speed no human can match. There are 4 components to any botting setup, and every single one of them matters. Firstly, the bot, the software that does the buying. Next, we have proxies, the IP addresses that allow you to run multiple tasks without getting blocked. You also have profiles. These are your payment and shipping details that you load into the bot that actually allows the bot to purchase and tells the website where it should ship the product to. And finally, you obviously need the money to actually buy the product it's going to buy for you. Miss any of these 4 and your setup does not work. Now that we understand the basics, let's start off with the bot itself. There are a lot of bots out there and a lot of opinions on which is best. For someone just getting started in 2026, specifically for Pokémon, my recommendation is Stellar AI. Here is why Stellar makes sense as your starting point. Strong coverage across major Pokémon retail sites in both the UK and the US. It is very beginner friendly. You do not need to be a technical wizard to get it up and running, and it is actively developed across the world. And it is one of the most widely used bots in the Pokémon botting community right now, meaning most support, most guides, and most community knowledge is available to you. Moving on from there, we have proxies. And proxies are the thing that trips up more new botters than anything else. So let me explain. When your bot runs multiple tasks, it needs multiple IP addresses. Without proxies, every task looks like it's coming from the same device. And retailers ultimately will stop that device from accessing the website. There are 2 types of proxies you need to know about. Firstly, we have ISP proxies. They're fast, reliable, best for speed-sensitive sites where checkout window is measured in seconds, and honestly, that is a very high-level botting kind of concept. ISP proxies are paid on a monthly basis. You sign up for an ISP package with 25 ISP proxies, you pay for them in a month, and you have unlimited data usage. And honestly, when you're starting out, it's a non-negotiable to have some ISP proxies. Moving on from there, we have residential proxies. These are basically real household IP addresses, harder for retailers to detect and block, but you pay by data usage, so you pay per gigabyte of data you use. You can go out there and you could generate 2,000 residential proxies, even though you have 1 gigabyte of data, which might cost you a few dollars, and you can get lots of different IP addresses very easily. And it's essentially for certain retailers in both the UK and the US. Moving on from there, we have profiles. And profiles are the simplest part of your setup. A profile is simply your payment and shipping information saved inside the bot. When the bot checks out, it uses your profile to fill in all the details automatically, name, address, card details, in a fraction of a second. So general rules of thumb with profiles is you want 1 profile per payment method. Make sure your details are accurate. One of the biggest mistakes I see people making is they will put one of their cards as a Visa when actually the card was a MasterCard, and ultimately this will stop you from purchasing. Finally, one thing worth mentioning is the mindset around using automated software. It is all about preparation over speed. The bot who has all of their tasks built, their proxies assigned, and the profiles tested in advance will always outperform the bot who is scrambling to set up the morning of the drop. Another key concept to always think about is about spreading your risk. Never rely on one site and never rely on one set of settings. And when I mean settings, never rely on one type of proxy, never rely on one specific delay. When it comes to bots, there are only so many variables you can control. And if people are getting checkouts and you're not getting any checkouts, it is pretty much guaranteed to be one of them control variables that has stopped you from buying products. The biggest one is usually always proxies, so it's always a good idea to have multiple types of proxies in case one fails on a drop. You can still get a checkout. Moving on from there, we have staying informed. Knowing what is dropping, where and when is just as important as having the right setup. Drops happen fast and without warning. Being in the right communities, having the right monitors, and knowing when to have your bot ready is half of the battle. And finally, the botting game is always about adapting. Retailers change their systems, bots get updated, What worked 3 months ago might not work today. The bots who stay on top of the changes and adapt quickly are the ones who keep securing product when everybody is scratching their heads. So here is exactly where to go next. Go and get Stellar AIO, source some ISP and residential proxies, build your profiles with your payment and shipping details. Make sure to have your cards loaded, ready to check out, and get into the right communities for drop alerts and timing. And if you need access to them communities and them drop alerts, there is a link below to our Botting Mentorship where you can get exactly that. That is it. That is the foundations. The 30th anniversary is still mid-drop. There are major products still to come out all across the world. The ones who are getting set up right now are the ones who are going to be ready when the drops hit. If you want the full detail, what specific sites to run, what proxies work, and the exact task setups for every retailer, that is exactly what our Botting Mentorship covers. The link is in the description, and that is the foundations. Get cracking with the checklist, and I will see everybody at the next drop.